Can I build Izzie and Bunchu the Bunny without any instructions? Let's find out. This set comes in at a whopping 259 pieces, a moderate challenge for someone who hasn't posted in a while. Anyways, I'm super excited to be hopping back into this, and honestly, LEGO Dreams is one of those sets I've been just wanting to build in again ever since I did the giant nightmare shark ship. That was a real crazy build. So yeah, I'm super excited to be diving into this set, and you know, right off the bat, I love the colors. Honestly, all the sets have just the most vibrant, you know, that dreamlike colors, and they're just so wonderful to see. Got these little minifigure. I don't know what this guy is. I haven't watched the show. I'm assuming it's good. But he comes with this awesome little basket. Don't know what it's for. I think it's for capturing, you know, something. This bunny, I think, because it's on the box. But yeah, looks pretty cool. Just trying to find the last little piece for his helmet, and yeah, pretty fun. Now let's try and find all the pieces for Izzie and put Izzie together. It seems like all the colors that are on Izzie's minifigure make up the same color palette for this giant like robot bunny, which is super awesome. Also has like a really cool outfit. Love these shoulder pads, this sword and accessory, this hourglass thing that I can only imagine is important if you watch the show. But yeah, super cool. Love the hair, love the whole minifigure here. They did an excellent job. All right, now let's actually get started on building this bunny. I don't really know what I'm going to start with. I think I'm going to start with the hands, kind of like how I've built the mechs before from LEGO Ninjago, those sets. I'm going to build this one, since it's very mech-like, into, you know, the segments. So I think I'm going to start with the arms. I'll build the one arm and then switch to the other. And then from there, we'll move on to another part that seems pretty manageable. Once again, building these LEGO sets without any instructions. Don't need those things here. Just trying to rediscover the joy of just building LEGO with no real purpose. I love using or seeing these little 1x1 rounded studs to make like the little padded fingers of the rabbit. Very fun. I actually like, the thing I love about building these sets without any instructions is, you know, I haven't built LEGO in a while. I haven't just kind of like assembled and built stuff for the sake of just building. So this has kind of been a really fun way just to, you know, rediscover what it's like to just build without any plans or follow any instructions. And don't get me wrong, following the instructions is a lot of fun and isn't very enjoyable for, you know, most people. Me, I'm trying to do something a little different. I'm trying to reconnect with LEGO in a different way. And for me, that's building it without any instructions. Just kind of going freehand. I have the box as a guide, so I can kind of have some kind of jumping off point, but, you know, whether I get something that looks, you know, 100% accurate or something that looks kind of 50% accurate, it's just fun to kind of see all these different building techniques and to try and figure it out a little bit, you know, on my own. But yeah, it looks like I got these two hands, or arms, I guess, figured out. Now I'm trying to think, what do I want to do next? This looks like this is probably the middle. Yeah, these two pieces are probably, oh, I see. It's where the torso connects to the head. So I'm gonna need to remember that, because that's where those pieces are gonna connect. Also, looking at the back, it looks like we have a bunch of different configurations. I'm gonna go with the rollerblade version of Bunchu, just because I like these like roller skates with fire coming at the ends. And honestly, ever since I saw these pieces, I thought, yeah, we're gonna have to build these roller shoes, and then probably the feet after that, just because I absolutely love the look of these. Also, this fire piece is just really cool. I haven't seen a piece like this in a long time. Very fun. Kind of actually makes me think of from Kai's Elemental Fire Mech. His sword was a really cool and unique piece. Definitely not going to see a lot of those like being molded, I bet. But this flame piece is really cool. I don't know what else you could really use it for, other than making like rockets or something like that, but it's pretty great. And yeah, you know, honestly, when we're doing any kind of like mech build like this, it's pretty straightforward. Once you figure out how to do the one side of something, you're just doing the same thing in mirroring the other side, essentially. And these roller shoes are actually pretty straightforward, which is pretty nice for me, someone who hasn't built Lego in a while. Just got to get these pieces in and connect the wheels, and then we'll have our two hypersonic, super speedy fast roller shoes with turbo jet engines coming out the back. I don't know if they're actually like jet engines or if it's the fact that they're just moving so fast, fire is coming out the ends. Alright, now this is a bit of a funky part. This weird hip joint where the legs connect to like the main body of the bunny. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna try and kind of figure out how these pieces all work and kind of where they go. Luckily with this set, it's not like super complicated. Some of these larger pieces are really fun, and it kind of goes against a little bit of what other Lego sets that I've built in the past are like, where instead of like having one larger singular piece, usually it's like multiple pieces combined in an interesting way. But looks like with this set they kind of wanted to bring more life and energy and get some angles that you can't otherwise really get. So I guess they had these special pieces made, and I don't know if they actually appear in any other sets. I should take a look and see, because that'd be pretty neat. Anyways, once again, great. So when building this Lego set or any Lego set without instructions, I kind of just like, I pick and choose pieces that I want to build that seem pretty straightforward and that can kind of get the piece count down. Because sometimes when you're looking at a lot of pieces, it's hard to just start. But if you pick small, like accomplishable pieces of a larger, you know, model or figure, or even like any kind of set, just like break it up into little segments, it's a lot easier to put together. And then for the harder parts where you might not be super sure about what pieces to use, or yeah, you see that, that's kind of funny. I put the mouth on the ear by accident. I didn't see that this 1x2 plate had a print decal on it, so that's kind of funny. And yeah, I mean, honestly, we've got the one ear done. Just right now, just trying to take my time and make sure I match the pattern. Would love to do like some kind of different build where I introduce some kind of more challenge to it. I don't know what that would look like, but I have some ideas on how I think we can kind of push the limits of the instructionless build and just building Lego sets without instructions, because it's a lot of fun. And honestly, some sets are pretty straightforward, but I kind of want to see what can we do to make it more challenging. How large of a set can we build without instructions? What other challenge modifiers can we add on to an instructionless build to take a relatively simple build and make it more complex? I don't know, but I definitely am gonna play with some of those ideas because that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, and so this piece is a little bit tricky, trying to figure out how to assemble the foot. I'm not liking how I'm seeing these gaps, just because it makes it a little bit flimsy, and obviously it says to me that I'm doing something, you know, I'm missing something somewhere. So I gotta take it apart and kind of reassemble a little bit and see what I'm doing and where I went wrong. And you know what? I kind of like the shape that I've got right now. And even though I'm still missing some pieces on the base, it's kind of holding together pretty solid. So we're gonna continue with it like this. Oh wait, you know what, actually? I think I know the pieces that have to go in between here now. It makes a lot of sense. It's because I can't see it when looking on the box. I can't see where those pieces are gonna be. So now with a little bit of playing around, we're not exactly there, but we're almost there. The thing that I'm forgetting about right now is I need to, or the thing that I think I'm, what I'm forgetting right now is I need to figure out a way for the feet to connect to the bottom of the roller skates. And that's the part that I'm trying to figure out, because I need the foot part to click into the leg piece, and then I also need pieces at the bottom so that it can click in securely to the rollerblades. And I think I figured that out using this one piece and turning it sideways, because now on the bottom side of the foot, you can't see it right now, there is a hole, and I should be able to, if I got my spacing right, I should be able to just set this down onto the rollerblade now. And this is a really fun idea. I really like this idea of you use certain bricks so you can get this hole on the bottom so that you can actually secure it onto the roller skates and like have it like a piece that's removable. I really like that. It's not so like integrated into the actual piece or built into the foot itself. It's a part, it's like an accessory that you can just take on and off, and I really love that. I dig that a lot. I don't know what the build process is like when people assemble these Lego sets, but I definitely think, you know, hats off to these people who can come up with this kind of brick configuration and create these kinds of characters. I think they're just absolutely phenomenal, and definitely some level of building I aspire to climb to at some point. Right now though, I'll stick my place and build the bunny head the instructionless way. Yeah, this one, I'm saving the torso, like the chest piece, for last, because I think that's gonna be one of the most challenging parts of the build. So I'm gonna try and tackle the head. It was kind of a toss-up between the head or the body. I think the body is going to be harder because you have to figure out how to connect the arms and legs to it. So I think I'm gonna just fiddle around with the head for a little bit and see what we can do, see what we can get to make things work here for it. Alright, so looking at this photo, I just realized something really funny. There is a tail. There's a tail for this rabbit, and I gotta keep that in mind as I'm building this torso segment. Because, yeah, I was like, I have a lot of pieces left over. I don't really know what to do with them, and then I realized there's this little bundle. You can't see it on the front photo, but on the back photo you can see this little tail right there, and I think, aha, that's it. That's the thing. I gotta build that at some point. So right now I'm just trying to finish kind of filling out this section of the torso, and then I'm gonna figure out how to attach something to the back later. Just gonna flip-flop back. You know, sometimes when you're building the instructionless way, it's good to just flip-flop between segments. Sometimes a spot might just be a little too difficult. You know, it might be a little challenging. So I like to kind of bounce around sometimes, especially because I knew the head and the torso were going to be the hardest parts of this build. But yeah, not too bad. We're really getting there. It's almost done. Almost complete. Really like how this is turning out. I think the spacing is correct for these like purple and pink pieces. Not too sure. Oh, okay, so now, right, with that little peg piece going back, into the back of the character, I think that's where the tail connects. And now I'm actually going to build the tail, or try to figure out kind of how they have it set up, because it's bumpy and it's a bit tiered, like on a different angle, to help give it that kind of like curving up and like energy to the movement. So just gonna snag a piece back from here and add it back to the tail and kind of fill in around it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. I think that's the way that it covers it mainly. And now just gotta add a few more pieces to the torso. Add that piece lower down for the tail to connect. I'm not entirely sure if this is correct, but it looks good enough. And as you can see, we're kind of starting to run out of some pieces here. All right, perfect. And just gotta get these last little pieces in, and there we go. Now we're going to have to just assemble it all. And there you have it, folks. Another Lego set built entirely without instructions. This one was a lot of fun. Like I said before, I really like the Lego DREAMZzz sets, but this one was a lot of fun, and I'm glad to be dipping my feet more into these Lego DREAMZzz sets, and I'm excited to see what comes next. Until next time, happy building!